Today, our catechesis will be a review of the encyclical letter MAGNIFICA HUMANITAS by Pope Leo XIV. What is an encyclical? An encyclical is a pastoral letter written by the Pope for the whole Roman Catholic Church and a message to the world on matters of doctrine, morals, or discipline. And the one that we review today is written by Pope Leo XIV with the title MAGNIFICA HUMANITAS, which means magnificent humanity, and is on the protection of the human person in the age of artificial intelligence. This encyclical has 5 chapters, and for today, we'll be reviewing the introduction and chapter 1. In the introduction, Pope Leo establishes the pivotal choice facing society as we navigate the digital revolution, either to construct a new Tower of Babel or to build a society in which God and humanity dwell together. And in this encyclical, he calls us to action and asks us 3 critical questions about humanity, artificial intelligence, and the digital revolution. And the first question there is, where are we going? With all the advancement we have these days, with humanoid doing the job of a human being, with ChatGPT doing all sort of stuff, where exactly are we going? Towards what goal? What is the end of all of these advancements in technology? And what direction should we choose as humanity? And in doing this, he also gave us 2 examples, 2 biblical examples, and gave us a direction that we should choose. The first example there is the example of the Tower of Babel from Genesis 11, 1 to 9. The Tower of Babel was built out of pride and an inflated sense of self-sufficiency, and it symbolizes a path that leads to the breakdown of communication, loss of purpose, and societal division. Remember what happened in Tower of Babel? As they tried to build a tower to heaven, they were disintegrated. Or do we choose the other path as chosen by Nehemiah in Nehemiah chapter 2, when during the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem? This was inspired by Nehemiah, and it symbolizes collegiality, shared responsibility, and building a community where with God at the center. So the choice is yours. And he concludes the introduction by urging Christians and all people of goodwill to reject a future where technology dominates people, but work together to build a society where technology serves every human person. In the chapter 1, which is titled A Dynamic Approach Faithful to the Gospel, Pope Leo clarifies that the church does not stand aloof from the events in the world. The church is not an uninterested observer in the events of the world, but rather she travels with humanity, interpreting historical transformations in the light of the gospel. And this is the foundation of the social doctrine of the church. Further, he reveals to us the evolution of this social doctrine of the church, with the first social encyclical by Pope Leo XIII, which was published in 1891, Rerum Novarum, which means the new things. And this was the age of industrial revolution, where human beings were practically turned into machines. And the Pope wrote a letter to restore the dignity of labor and the dignity of a human person. So therefore, from that time to date, all the popes have responded to the major events that is happening within their environment at that particular time with a letter. We also remember the Laudatio Si by Pope Francis, where he reminded us that the earth is a gift to humanity, that the earth was given to us, we met it here, and we will leave it for future generation. And he encouraged us to preserve the earth for future generation, that we should not be reckless. So, today, the new Tower of Babel is artificial intelligence. And so he concludes, the church continually applies timeless gospel values to new historical realities. AI is the newest challenge, requiring this ongoing moral discernment. So in this regard, artificial intelligence should not be considered merely as yet another theme to be studied or a crisis to be managed, but rather as a development that challenges the categories of social doctrine from within. So whether we are policymakers or we are part of research groups that deals on artificial intelligence, or we're investors that deals with artificial intelligence, let us have one thing in mind, that humanity, or rather that artificial intelligence must be made to serve humanity and not the other way around. Glory to Jesus.